Ho! Happy Mother's Day. Today we walk in honor of the mother and all mothers out there. The divine feminine energy. What that is. Prairie dogs are joining us, and so are lark buntings. Lark buntings are the Colorado state bird, and they flew in this week, which was pretty cool. They come in great big flocks all together, and then they start to disperse into their nesting areas. They're pretty fun to watch. So, in honor of our mothers and the mothers, our mother and the mothers, thank you. For being mothers, for carrying that fierce, divine feminine energy, for being willing to speak up for life, all of life. Being a creative force and a protective force. Thank you. So, in that vein of protective force, I just want to say that I don't trust the powers that be to tell me what is best for me, and especially when it comes to the pandemic, COVID-19. Yes, I listen to them. I listen to them, and I listen to my own knowing, my own discernment, and I listen to many, many different sources to gather together ways for me to discern what is best for me and for my life, and to protect myself and my life. You know, we've been talking about discernment and grounding and how to trust what we know and what we hear. And the best way to do that is to start within. Start within your heart. Drop into your heart. Listen to what your heart has to say. We have neuropeptides in our hearts. We have neuropeptides in our GI tract. The reason I'm not willing to just buy the stuff that's being put out there by those that are governing us is because they're the ones who brought us GMOs. They're the ones who brought us global spraying. They're the ones who convince us that we don't have good discernment. We, as individuals, are to just follow their control files. Because only they know what's best for us. And I'm not willing to agree with that. Do they sometimes know what's best for us? I think sometimes they have some good ideas, and I think they're worth listening to. But so far as just listening to them, giving away my own power, my own knowing, my relationship with God, with Spirit, in order to worship at the feet of the governing bodies? No. I am not willing, nor will I do that. So why do I seek outside of the box? Well, that's why. Because I need to listen to and hear what everybody else is saying. You know, it's interesting with today's technology how people are called wrong and stupid and false information and misinformation. Reminds me an awful lot about the Salem witch trials, when even just gathering herbs, having connection to nature, you were hung or burned or stuck in jail for a really long time for being a witch. I see a lot of that happening right now. If you don't buy into what a software engineer says about how best to handle health issues, you're full of baloney. Being PG rated or G rated. To me, that's not honoring the mother. The mother within us is that goddess, Gaia, Sophia. Coming from within by grounding and listening. Has to start with grounding. We don't want to expand until we're grounded. We have to be in our bodies. We have to listen to our bodies before we can discern. It's only in our bodies that we are actually in a place of discernment. Our body speaks to us. Our body tells us. The phrase gut feeling is a deep and meaningful phrase. Again, those neuropeptides are in our stomachs. And so much of what I'm going to just call the great poisoning from the powers that be separate us from that knowing, from that body, by killing all of those good bacteria, GMOs, so that we can intake all the pesticides and herbicides, impossible meat, which is lab-grown meat that who knows what all it has in it. All this processing, all this processed stuff. Over-vaccination. All of that is meant to kill off our own knowing by killing off that, separating us from our good bacteria, separating us from our bodies, from our knowing. Outsourcing to the government, outsourcing to the churches, outsourcing to anything but your own knowing. So let's do a little grounding exercise again, so that we are in our bodies and we can have that discernment. And today I'm going to teach you a little tree exercise, tree meditation. So just visualize yourself, your torso as a tree. Any kind of tree, whatever tree feels like the right tree for you. And then allow a taproot to drop out from your pelvic floor and from the bottoms of your feet all the way to the center of the planet. And in allowing that taproot to drop all the way down to the center of the planet, now allow 6 more roots to drop out of the bottoms of your feet, out of your pelvic floor, and to spread out far enough for you to be supported. Wide enough, let those roots just grow tendrils so it's wide enough and deep enough that the fiercest winds can't knock you over. And bring in the nutrients from the mother. Bring them in into your body. And give up that needs to be given up through those roots to the mother. Call in all your parts and pieces, all those tendrils from all over the planet. Bring them all inside, into your heart, into your body, into your being. Feel yourself filling up, being more complete. And from the tops of your shoulders and from the top of your head, allow tendrils of branches to grow and spread out and create a canopy overhead, and reaching up to the sun, the central sun, and bringing in the love and guidance from the divine masculine. Feel that. Feel that grounding. Practice that grounding daily. I love you all. Thank you for joining me in the Prairie Dogs. Happy Mother's Day.